Welcome to Caribbean Focus. Caribbean Focus is the community voice of the Caribbean Research Center at MEDGAR Evers College, the weekly radio program highlighting Caribbean educational, cultural, and social affairs. The program airs on WNYE 91.5 FM. I am your host, Hermina Marcellin. And joining us today is an African Caribbean American writer with Bajan roots. May you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, my name is Negus Adeyemi.
Welcome, Negus. Welcome to Caribbean Focus. How are you doing?
Doing great, my sister. How you been? It's been a little while since I saw you.
How long? A few years.
That long?
A few years, I believe. Well, we always see each other. I mean,
Yeah.
we're friends on Facebook, right?
Yeah, well, maybe 1 or 2 years, but if that.
Okay, great. I am in remembrance of a post, and I mentioned that comment even in my prior interview, and it was commemorating the late Harlem-born icon Cicely Tyson, which reads, "The power and influence of Black immigrants in creating American history is often overlooked." Her parents coming from St. Kitts, Nevis. Yours, however, they're from Barbados. How much of this quote speaks to your Afro-Caribbean heritage?
It resonates very highly with me because I feel that a lot of the people who are very well known here in America have Caribbean roots. Whether you go from Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, Shirley Chisholm, Kwame Ture. You can even go to the pioneers of hip hop. Cool Herc, Dougie Fresh. I mean, anywhere you go around, those Caribbean roots are there. Biggie. If you look into their background and history, the Caribbean influence or their heritage is there. But majority of the time, it's overlooked or not even spoken about. But it's there. It's all over.
I hear a very strong accent, the Bajan accent. You were born in America.
Brooklyn.
You were born. So tell me, how is this happening? I mean, the fascination with language. I am in remembrance of my daughter, who is an American, and she's growing up in the household with me. She sounds Caribbean. So tell me about this dynamic, because I'm hearing a strong Bajan accent, even though you are from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, as you already know, being in Flatbush, Brooklyn, it is the mini Caribbean. When people ask you in Flatbush, where you from, you don't say I'm from Flatbush. You say whatever Caribbean region that your family is from. So both of my parents are from Barbados, which is the genuine thing and gem of me. I don't have like just one parent, or both of my parents are from Barbados. My father's from Christchurch. My mother's from St. Joseph. So I spent a lot of my younger years in Barbados, a lot of summers, or I would have a lot of family members coming up, staying with us. So, and I said, and also my father being a Calypsonian, I always was in the studio with him. I always see artists. I'll always be around all of that culture. So it was natural for me. How can you not be amongst your own and not be able to speak the language and to communicate with your people?
Your mentioning your father actually segued into my next question about your father. You were fortunate to be in the midst of your father being a Calypsonian and folk musician. How did that influence your upbringing?
Immensely, because at that time period, I wasn't even thinking about being a writer or a poet or performer. I would just watch my father and be amazed at the things he would do on stage and how command the crowd and the power and the energy and how he made people feel. I was always just in all of that, and just being amongst the other Calypsonians that were his peers, and consciously falling in love with words and falling in love with stories and just the premise of Calypso, the double entendres and the storytelling and the wittiness with words. I always loved that. And to grow up to partake in it in my own way with poetry today. So it was kind of embedded in me subconsciously and inadvertently.
Do you see that influence as well? You being a father yourself?
Yes, yes. When I write a lot of my poetry, my sons, I have two sons, they laugh when they hear certain words, or I have a lot of my poetry is mature, I would say. A lot of my content is mature content, whether it be sensual, sexual, or revolutionary activism. Majority of my poetry is mature. So when my sons hear certain words, they're like, "Daddy, what does that mean?" I can't really break down to them in the totality at the moment. But as they get older, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to decipher and have better understanding. That's the beauty and cleverness of being a wordsmith and someone who can really play with words and bring forth metaphors and double entendres.
You are indeed a wordsmith, and actually intrigued by your educational background in technology and crossing over into poetry. How did you make that transition?
Yeah, I have my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. That was just something that I was always very good in math and science. But at the time, I didn't really know that I had the passion for writing. I always had a way with words. I always knew how to use my words, but I didn't really take it seriously. Until after I graduated college, that I realized I had this gift of utilizing my words to make things happen and make things shift and make people feel a certain way. So it was like another ascension into my growth.
As a poet yourself, your goal, as you mentioned, is to express yourself in a way that enlightens, heals, uplifts, guides, and augments the human spirit. May you expound a little bit about this goal?
Yes, yes. So as a fellow poet, Sister Hermina, I know you have understanding of what that means. Words have a lot of power. Words have a lot of abilities to make people move, make energy shift, change emotions and everything. So my intent when I'm writing poetry is to make someone feel much better than they did before they read or heard my poem. I want people to feel it doesn't always have to be better, but a shift. Have an understanding that my intent is to make you feel differently, right? So that's my whole goal when I'm writing my poetry, and especially when I'm performing.
Especially when you perform, and you've performed at numerous venues, including universities, colleges, prisons, churches, libraries, bookstores, and about everywhere else in North America. What is the biggest takeaway or lesson you learned from these performances?
The having again having the visual confirmation of your words is similar to people who do speeches, people who it could be a presidential campaign. You're letting your words speak for themselves, and people are feeling what you say. Right? They have an understanding. They're gonna go out and campaign and vote for you. And the main thing, my youngest son here.
Hello, welcome.
So the
I
big,
can even game, Mom.
yeah, the biggest
Yes.
takeaway, the biggest takeaway is just understanding how important your words are.
Yes.
Wait, please.
He's trying to assist you. He's trying to assist
Yes.
you. Let him.
Mhm.
He
Yeah,
is indeed encouraging you. Yes.
Mhm.
Hello.
yeah.
Hi.
Hi. I'm interviewing your daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be interviewing you too. And you are the owner of Adeyemi Artistry Incorporated. Did I say that correctly? And help
Yes,
if
yes, you did. You said it correct.
okay, great. What's in the name? Share us a little bit about its inception.
Yeah, so Adeyemi is a Yoruba name from Nigeria. It means the crown fits me well. Uh, and artistry, So the second half of my name is Adeyemi, and the first part Negus. Negus means king, and Amharic, which is the language spoken in Ethiopia. So that I wanted to find a way to use my skill of words and arts, combine it and make a platform so that people can hear my words, can see my words, can feel my words, and to put forth and create a legacy for my sons.
And there is meaning and depth in names. Hence the reason why, we as parents have to be very conscious of the names
Yes.
that. And your son's name. What is his name?
But my youngest son here is Makonnen, and my oldest son is Menelik.
Menelik.
Mhm.
Lovely. Okay, again, carrying so much weight in just the name itself.
Yeah.
And you have written and self-published 4 poetry books, which includes Love, Letting Out Vast Emotions, which was released in June 2009, Myself a Mature Lion
Mhm.
in 2011, Soul Radiance, Gemini, and your latest book, Crown Chakra. I'm fascinated by the titles as much as I am with the names. Share with us a little bit about, what the books contain.
Uh, Reference to the first one or the newest one coming out next month?
Anyone that you want to touch on is
Okay.
fine.
So my first two books, Love and Mind of a Mature Lion, were written under my birth name. And the last two books, Solar Radiance and Gemini, were my books written as Negus Adeyemi.
Is that your other son?
Yeah.
I think he wants to. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. And this is Menelik.
Yes.
This is Menelik. Okay. Hi, Menelik.
Hi.
Welcome to Caribbean Focus.
I'm doing the interview right now.
Okay.
And that's my comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yes.
the newest book, I'm the newest book. I'm actually putting out 2 books this year, 2 poetry books this year. The first one is going to be Crown Chakra, which is going to be on my youngest son's birthday, and then the second one will be Airbender, which comes out on my first son's birthday. Yeah. So, yeah. So
And I am so sorry, and I'm pretty sure again, meaning with the release dates, this connection with your children, living that legacy as you opened up about your father as well. So that is admirable.
yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So Crown Chakra, as when I first made Solar Radiance, it was spelled in one word, SOULARADINCE. Solar Radiance. Then when I'm released Gemini, I am a Gemini. I wrote it GEMINEYE, all in one word. So this new book, Crown Chakra, is going to be one word, CROWNSCHOCKRA.
Why the name? Why the spelling and the intricacies in spelling it differently?
Yeah. So I've always been amazed, or when I was amazed when Music Soul Child first started creating albums, and how he would name his album. I'm like, wow, this this brother really put a different spin on how he named his albums. So I was kind of inspired by how he did that. And then with my versions now is to put an extra meaning on when you hear the word, you might hear, okay, Solar Radiance, okay, You may think and see it somewhere else, but how I display it is a different way, a different meaning. So I'm always attempting to find double entendres and multiple meanings and ways how someone can see and perceive something.
Mm.
I want to give people the
And
option.
indeed.
Yeah. So crown chakra. People know me familiar with the regular crown chakra with CROWN and the second word CHAKRA. But I wanted to change that a bit. So I wanted to to shock the raw energy or shock your higher self, your crown. That's my whole intent. When you read it, you're gonna have a lot of good activation in that crown chakra region.
And that speaks to you mentioning the possibilities in words, the possibilities in poetry, so many ideas could evolve from just certain concepts. Do you mind sharing and moving into concepts? Your poetry in your greeting cards, you delved into that as well.
Yes. I created a poetic greeting card line. It was created out of the lack of quality greeting cards that I saw for, just for us. Whether it was visually aesthetic or just the words on the inside. I felt that the options that I saw was very, very poor. And I just made the initiative. Said, well, I'm a poet. I can write better than what I'm seeing. I'm going to create my own. So that's what I did. So I've expanded my greeting card line. It started as one card, right? It started as a Valentine's Day card 3 years ago.
Oh my God, you're right.
And then I got such a good reception. I said, okay, the next big day holiday is Mother's Day. So I created a Mother's Day card. And then that went good. And I created a Father's Day card, and then graduation, and then went down to Christmas and Kwanzaa and New Year's. And then I just kept doing everything after that. I miss you, get well soon, Juneteenth, birthdays, anniversary, everything.
So
Like,
included in the greeting cards are your own poetry. Do you include other poets' work as well?
yes. So majority of the cards have poems in the inside written by myself. Majority of the poems, the cards that are written intended for men are written by Empress Poetry. All right, so we have like a duo. So this is a tag team. So I write majority of the cards, but the cards that are specifically written to be received by men are written by Empress Poetry.
So there is definitely a connection happening there. And how's been the reception in those receiving the greeting cards?
It's been great. Great from me just having my cards being sold just on my website alone to my cards being inside a few stores in New York City and getting ready to be in a store in New Jersey in time for Mother's Day. And my intent is to just continue to grow the cards, to grow the locations of accessibility, how people can get quality cards, to receive quality messages, because a word may just uplift someone's day for not just a day, but for an eternity, right? So I remember a brother I know, he bought a Mother's Day card for his mom, and he just thought he was just buying a regular card supporting me. And when I saw him after Mother's Day, he was like, man, I purchased Mother's Day cards for my mother for years. And he said, I never see my mother cry. I never see my mother come and hug me and tell me where did you get this card from. It clicked in my mind. I said, okay, what I'm doing is something that I should be doing, and it's bigger than me. Right? My intent, like I said, is to make people feel much better and show appreciation with my ability of using my words. So that's my intent. I'm going to continue to use my words to make people feel better.
And you find the time amidst your busy schedule to do that. Where can our listening audience and viewing audience find your work?
Yes, so you can find my stuff on my website, which is adeyemiartistry.com, ADEYEMIARTISTRY.com. Again, ADEYEMIARTISTRY.com, Adeyemi Artistry. Also on We Buy Black, Blacktopia, Official Black Wall Street. Yeah, also if you want to buy greeting cards, my greeting cards, if you're in Brooklyn, my greeting cards are in Nicholas, Brooklyn. If you're in Harlem, they're in Sisters Uptown Bookstore. So, you know.
And do you have an email address? Can we reach you via email as well?
Yes. So the email is the same. It's adeyemiartistry@gmail.com.
Okay, great.
Or you can access it from the website.
And with the nature of our new normal, and with all of your adventures, you know, I mean, I know it has affected us all, but how are you navigating with your business and this new normal?
Yeah, I've
Daddy, what you doing in there?
So I was, before everything shifted, I was already planning to do some I was already doing poetry and creative writing programs for teens, primarily incarcerated teens. I was going to South Rikers Island. I would go into Horizon in the Bronx and work with the young men in that population. So this whole pandemic and its shift shut down, I've been able to acquire a few contracts and partnerships, do online poetry and creative writing programs for teens, preteens, and adults. So that has definitely helped out a lot, and has definitely showed me how much people need the platform to express themselves, whether it be writing it out, whether it be verbally expressing themselves, or just want to hear someone or hear familiar stories, right? So, you know, many of us are going through all types of things during this pandemic. And, you know, I really feel that people have been really, really enjoying my program.
So those students who would be interested in joining the program, how does that work? Are you in connection with certain schools or like adult programs? How does that work?
Yeah, so my adult program right now is I have a partnership with Sports Horse, and I had my own during the summer. I had my own direct program for teens and adults that was direct through me. Currently, I have a partnership with ACS, couple group homes. I'm planning to acquire a couple before summer starts. But I do intend to, maybe during the summertime, do intend to create a teen platform just for teens that would just be direct through me and one of my other instructors that work with me. So yeah, just keeping communication, keeping contact, getting the mailing list, follow my social media, see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the intent.
Great. Do you have any greeting card maybe next to you that you could probably share some of the words included in there, or even as a poet yourself, anything that you want to share with our listening and viewing audience?
Yeah, I don't have any cards on me next to me at the moment. McConaughey. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. What I can do, I can give you a little piece of one of the poems that will be in my new book.
That's even better.
That's what I can do. Bed springs blossoming, all while her fragrant flower gets watered, and her two lips give off the scent of divine effervescence and goddess presence, sacredly and simultaneously giving me this gift that will one day uplift our future. And while only a few return away from where they came from, I find it cumbersome how a submersible cucumber can make you peacefully slumber in soliloquy. And that's all you're gonna get. You gotta get the book.
I was just wait. I was just about to get into the next line, and this is what you're going to do.
Yes, I told you, a lot of my poetry is very mature. A lot of wordplay, a lot of double entendres, but you know, it's to make you feel good, right? To get some energy shifting in your body.
And you know, we're not going to, you know, poetry events. I had Rahul Rios on, who was deeply involved in the Nuyorican poetry cafe, and these were one of the spots where many poets and artists would go. Um, I mean, how do you cope with that? Is there any online events that you partake in?
No, honestly, I have not been performing since this whole lockdown happened. I really shifted and focused on my writing and preparing for these 2 books and getting these greeting cards out and working with the youth, working with the adults. I have not uh, performed like that. Not saying I haven't felt the passion to. I just my whole mindset just shifted on putting forth the words, and I guess in being prepared for when things do open up, that I have some new words ready for the people. I have some new poems ready for the people, and that I'm you know you will see and hear a new shift, a new me.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds great. Sounds excellent. So, with your future endeavors, writing, working on your new book and having that released, is there anything else outside of writing that you're interested in partaking in or thinking about?
Well, I am. I have been involved in a couple songs coming out. A couple of my friends that are artists. I'm not gonna say when. Yeah, I'll let them release it because I'm featuring on their music, their songs. But yeah, look out for that. That's something new for me. I'm featuring on a song that's gonna be coming out later this month. Notified by the artist, so I'll let him release that. And I'm also work with a very long friend of mine who is one of the top Beijing bashment soca producers in the world. We've been friends for like 20 years, and we kept saying all the time we need to connect. And so during this time period, we be able to put something together, and we're working on finalizing it. And I know that people will love it and enjoy it. That's my other trajectory, right? Is to just to get other ways for people to hear me, hear my poetry, hear my expression.
And even before the pandemic, were you always traveling back and forth to Barbados to connect with your roots, or um, did you just pretty much grew up in the household with your parents? Are you constantly traveling back and forth to Barbados?
Yeah, I used from the time my first birthday was in Barbados. I
Hmm.
was there back and forth every summer until early teens, and then late teens to late 20s. You know, that's actually even where I met my wife at, was in Barbados. So yeah, I've always been going back to Barbados. I'm very close to my family. Uh, love it there. You know,
And do you see any future? I mean, we cannot speak too much, right, of the future, especially, but we can be we can be optimistic about it. But do you see a future in connecting maybe with the arts programs they have in Barbados, connecting it with what you're doing here in New York?
very good question, Hermina. So I'm not sure if you are familiar or you know the event that I co-produced with Empress Poetry, which is called Beijing Brought Up to You. Right? It's an annual pre-independence cultural concert that we've been doing here in Brooklyn for the past 6 years. It is a way for the Beijing artists here in New York City to perform, to bring forth, to express their Beijing culture, and to keep the Beijing culture alive here in Brooklyn. But the main goal is to create the partnership with the Beijing artists here with the Bajan artists there, so you can create a cultural exchange. So our artists from here can go there, perform there, and an artist from there can come up here to keep that connection very strong. And I also have another collaboration with one of the top poets and spoken word artists in Barbados. I'll let that come out when it comes out. I don't want to leak that out yet because nobody knows about that.
Leak it out on Caribbean Focus.
No, because I was last
when
year.
the time is right, whenever you're ready, just text me and tell me, Hermina, I have something to leak out, and we'll do a live, and you will leak it out on here.
Yeah, around this time last year, I was supposed to fly down there to do the video for this poem, for this collaboration piece, and the world shifted, so forth. So when things open up, when things get back ready again, going to put the energy back into it and make sure that happens, that transfer, because I feel that is going to be a catalyst to inspire more of the Bajan artists that are in Barbados and the Bajan artists that are here in America, along with in the Caribbean we've migrated to 3 major places: Canada, UK, North America. So I want to inspire and ignite those that are in the diaspora, the Caribbean diaspora, to remain connected to those that are there on the island still, right? To not let them feel isolated or secluded, and to give them opportunity to expose their audience, and for them to bring you back home, to bring you back home to your family, and remain connected and grounded with your roots, and let it be an exchange that everyone grows and benefits and profits from.
And you have already provided the website, which is www.adeyemiartistry.com, where our listening and viewing audience could get in contact with you, find out more about your greeting cards, and also, as you just explained, that connection and cultural exchange occurring between Barbados and America.
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna miss something too. Many people don't even know, right? So in Harlem, there's a street named after a Bajan man in Harlem. How many people know that? Right? Elambe Bragg, who was one of the most profound activists in this time period, right? There's so many things that I back to our first question you had with Cicely Tyson, right? If many of us knew that, how many of us would we be inspired to be and do great? We know what our ancestors and our elders have been doing or were doing. Right? Your expectation now is set here. You would know to be great because those that came from this region are excellent. Why can you not do further or more than what they did with the opportunity that they had?
I wish we had an hour to continue this conversation and get in depth. But you know what? You're going to come back because you're going to share that breaking news too when we delve further in extending a conversation. It was just a pleasure to have you, seeing a familiar face. And thank you so much for being on Caribbean Focus.
Thank you for having me, Sister Hermina. I appreciate you, and we gotta share a stage again sometime soon when things open back up.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you to my listening and viewing audience. This has been Caribbean Focus. I want to thank Negus Adeyemi for joining us and joining me on Caribbean Focus. Have a good afternoon. See you soon. Bye-bye.